BRICS expansion explained. Is the dollar's global dominance finally ending? Would you believe it if I told you that 41% of the global population is now trying to end the United States' financial domination? A financial uprising is starting, which may change the norms of the international economy. But Western media is only interested in domestic politics. Envision yourself waking up tomorrow to find that the cost of everything, from your savings to your investments to your daily coffee, had changed, all in one night. Sounds impossible? Yes, it is happening. At this very moment, a covert financial coup is taking place. After 80 years at the top, the US dollar faces its greatest challenge. This new coalition runs from the Middle East deserts to the Brazilian rainforests, from Shanghai's skyscrapers to Johannesburg's gold vaults, and it's not coming from Wall Street or Washington. And this isn't just conjecture. The foreign ministers of all 10 BRICS countries convened in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, on April 28th and 29th, 2025, for their first significant meeting since Indonesia formally joined the group. Their plan? Enhance multilateralism, restructure global governance, and plan a coordinated reaction to the most recent trade restrictions imposed by the United States. With each new agreement and handshake, Washington's hold over the global financial system is loosening. With its most recent expansion, this alliance, called BRICS, is changing the game regarding global dominance. Hey there, welcome to Global Eye. Today we'll explore what could be the most significant economic power shift we've ever seen. Buckle up for an exciting ride. This isn't just a wild theory, it's the real deal in geopolitics that the financial bigwigs prefer to keep under wraps from the public eye. As discussions in Washington focus on local matters, a significant transformation is happening under the surface of the global financial environment. Once you watch this video, you'll understand what's happening, why it's essential, and how it might impact your financial future. Historical context of dollar dominance. We must return to 1944 to comprehend the current events. Delegates from 44 Allied countries awaited the conclusion of World War II at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire's Mount Washington Hotel. This is where the new international monetary system was born, with the US dollar and its gold backing as anchors for all other currencies. However, things began to shift. The current fiat money system was established when President Nixon removed the dollar's convertibility to gold. After the dollar lost its gold underpinning, what saved it from falling? 2 words: petrodollar system. The United States got what it wanted from Saudi Arabia and the other OPEC countries in a deft geopolitical maneuver. Oil trading and pricing would be conducted entirely in US dollars, the currency of the global economy. This ensured that the dollar would always be in demand worldwide. In addition to trading with the United States, many countries required dollars to buy the energy that kept their economies running. Because of this advantage, the US was able to maintain large trade imbalances over an extended period, secure low-interest loans from international investors, export inflation to other countries, use economic penalties as a tool in its geopolitical arsenal. The dollar has remained the king of the currency for 80 years. However, its proportion of global reserves has declined significantly, from 72% in 2005 to 59% currently. What you see there is a warning flare, not a simple numerical value. Why? Simply put, a brand new club is taking shape. Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE, and now Indonesia are forming a coalition out of need rather than a social club. They account for almost $65 trillion in GDP and 46% of the world's population. As for them, they're sick of following orders from Washington. They long for independence in all areas, including government, economies, and prospects for the future. The stakes are more than simple geopolitics. At stake are the fate of the world's currency and, by implication, its rulers. What is BRICS? The BRICS countries are seizing control of vital resources that the West relies on, such as China's technological centers, Brazil's soy crops, and Russia's oil reserves. Check it out. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are lighting up the map one by one. BRICS started as BRIC, a catchy acronym created by Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill in 2001. It was meant to highlight the emerging economic giants of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. In 2010, South Africa joined the party, bringing the S into the mix and transforming BRIC into BRICS. What began as just a term in the investment world has evolved into a formal partnership among emerging economies that want to have a bigger voice in global matters. In 2014, a significant turning point occurred at the Fortaleza Summit in Brazil. Here, the 5 founding members came together to create the new development bank, often called the BRICS Bank. This move was a bold response to the influence of the Western-led World Bank and IMF. In contrast to the Bretton Woods institutions, where Western nations hold a majority of the voting power, the BRICS Bank takes a different approach by granting equal voting rights to all its founding members. This creates a more balanced and inclusive decision-making process. The big twist happened in 2023 when BRICS took off with a significant expansion. In January 2024, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates allied. Jakarta is our target. Joining BRICS in January 2025, Indonesia became the 4th most populous country in the world. Why? Nickel metal. Its mines provide 40% of the world's supply, which is used in electric automobiles and iPhones. But the shocking part? 9 new states have joined forces. Belarus strengthens Russia's military supply routes. Malaysia and Thailand control 60% of the world's semiconductor packaging. What about Uganda? It protects Africa's cobalt reserves, which are called the blood diamond of clean energy. BRICS Plus controls all of the West's essential resources, which is a chokehold on the supply chain rather than an alliance. An emerging economic bloc has the potential to overtake the United States as the world's leading economic power. Why, however, are these nations so keen to join? Why is this growth happening? Why countries are joining BRICS? Let's be real, there's a rising frustration with how Western economies are being led, and many countries view the dollar as a tool for power plays. When the US decides to freeze Russia's foreign reserves, cut off Iran from the SWIFT banking system, or warns Turkey about economic penalties for buying Russian defense systems, you can bet the rest of the world is paying attention. It's pretty straightforward. If you step over Washington's geopolitical boundaries, your economy might be the next target. Let's discuss a major blunder Washington made: the use of sanctions. The BRICS countries were in a frenzy after Russia's $300 billion reserves were frozen. What if we end up being the next ones? And just like that, it's time for everyone to make their move. China's Enbridge is making waves by managing a whopping $27 billion in cross-border transactions, all without the need for dollars. Here's an interesting tidbit. Russia and Iran are swapping oil for missiles and doing it with gold-backed cryptocurrencies. Pretty wild, right? It's interesting to see how India's rupee is making a name for itself in places like Malaysia and the UAE. Follow the money journey from Moscow to Mumbai, Beijing to Brasilia. The dollar gradually disappears, one trade deal at a time. For countries such as Saudi Arabia, a key player in the petrodollar system for many years, joining BRICS is a smart move to diversify and strengthen their position. The kingdom has observed how the US has achieved energy independence, reducing its dependence on oil from the Middle East. At the same time, China has stepped up to be Saudi Arabia's top trading partner and its biggest oil buyer. This isn't about ideology. It's about pragmatic self-interest and diversification. For countries like Iran, which face heavy sanctions from the West, BRICS provides a valuable economic lifeline and boosts diplomatic backing. For countries like Ethiopia, the BRICS New Development Bank offers a refreshing alternative by providing financing without the tough conditions often set by Western institutions. IMF loans usually require austerity measures and privatization, but BRICS financing focuses more on infrastructure development and often doesn't have those political strings attached. BRICS is stepping up its game, going beyond mere solidarity and talk. The alliance is making real moves to create a new financial system where the dollar has a significantly reduced influence. The gold playbook and de-dollarization. Gold is indifferent when it comes to sanctions. That's why China stockpiled an immense 299 tons in 2024 alone, plenty to support a fresh BRICS currency. What's the deal with Russia and Iran? They're swapping oil for gold at $2,400 per ounce, setting up a tough system to sanction. Take a journey down the Golden Road, from the bustling mines of Johannesburg to the secure vaults in Switzerland. BRICS is busy gathering gold while the West seems to be in a deep slumber. The Federal Reserve can create dollars, but when it comes to gold, that's a different story. It can't just whip it out of thin air, and that's an issue. De-dollarization isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real strategy that BRICS countries are actively working on with tangible policies and institutions in place. To start things off, let's explore some alternative payment systems. When Western sanctions hit Russian banks in 2022, they highlighted how risky it is to depend on financial systems controlled by the West. The weaknesses in that reliance became all too obvious. Russia has ramped up the development of its SPFS messaging system, which serves as an alternative to SWIFT. China is on the move, broadening its cross-border interbank payment system, CIPS. This system is stepping up as a rival to the American CHIPS system, which manages most dollar-denominated transactions. These systems are becoming increasingly linked, enabling BRICS countries and their allies to engage in trade while bypassing the US financial system entirely. Next, BRICS nations are quickly ramping up their use of local currencies in trading. Russia and India are shaking things up by conducting over 65% of their trade in rubles and rupees instead of relying on dollars. China and Brazil have signed an agreement that allows them to trade using their currencies, the yuan and the real, completely sidestepping the dollar. Even Saudi Arabia, the bedrock of the petrodollar, has started to accept yuan for oil sales to China. Since 2008, Russia has increased its gold reserves by more than 4 times. China has been gradually ramping up its official holdings, and there's a lot of chatter among analysts who think the real reserves might be much more substantial than what's reported. India has also been accelerating its gold reserves. The build-up of gold safeguards against the dollar's decline and lays the groundwork for possible new monetary systems in the future. Perhaps the most ambitious idea is to discuss a BRICS currency, a potential direct competitor to the dollar. Despite its lofty goals and remarkable data, BRICS must overcome significant obstacles to establish a practical substitute for the dollar-based economy. It includes political divides, technological obstacles, and massive economic inequalities within the bloc. Reaction from Washington? Denial. Trump and his team still claim that the dollar is stronger than ever. Look closely at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, $7 trillion in debt. At the same time, the BRICS countries are selling their US Treasury bonds and buying gold and yuan. The West has run out of moves, the numbers show it. At the close of the April 2025 Rio meeting, BRICS ministers issued a declaration emphasizing their dedication to inclusive development and the Global South's priorities. As the Leaders' Summit approaches in Brazil, it's evident BRICS is not only growing in numbers but also amplifying its impact, reshaping the game and paving the way for a fresh chapter in global finance. The globe's eyes are on us, and the dollar's reign is in question. The dollar isn't vanishing anytime soon. The reign of supremacy has come to an end. The globe is shifting to a multipolar landscape. The US is still a powerhouse, but it's not the sole player anymore. What's your next move? Stay in the loop, mix up your investments, Keep an eye on the headlines, not just from NYC and London, but also from Beijing, Moscow, Brasilia, New Delhi, and more. A quiet financial takeover is underway. Adapt to flourish. Hit that like button if you sense the change ahead. Join Global Eye for insightful explorations of the world's shiftings. Share your ideas below. Is the dollar done for? Will the US strike back? The algorithm favors the alert. Subscribe to our channel, stay sharp, stay global, and we'll see you in the New World Order.